And I want us to begin to ponder on this, because the understanding why you are on social media helps to define the way you behave on social media. It helps to coordinate. It helps to moderate the kind of things you focus on social media. And then, of course, the things you focus on social media will somehow determine the kind of results you get out of social media. So there are lots of platforms of social media. You have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have, which is now called X, you have LinkedIn, you have all of these platforms that exist. But the question is, why are you here? And then, of course, it even becomes more interesting when I talk about it to the Young Professionals Forum, because there was a time when most of us were sort of running away from social media. I remember there was a time I closed my own Facebook account, or I deactivated it. It took a friend who sort of spoke to me about it to get me back on the platform, because sometimes it's too noisy out there on social media. But again, it's not a case of you running away from the platforms. It's more like you having to understand why you are on the platform, define your purpose on the platform. And then once you have your purpose clearly defined on the platform, you can then begin to understand the profits, the benefits, and how you yourself can be useful on the platform. Right. And before we even begin to move further into the conversation, let's look at social media and then try to classify them based on their primary use. This is not to say that all the social media platforms that were primarily designed for entertainment are purely for entertainment. But I've highlighted entertainment in red because, and in fact, I'm even starting from there on the opposite side, because that's where most people are stuck in. So most people coming to social media are stuck on the entertainment side. They are not harnessing social media for all the good benefits of social media. They are stuck on that entertainment. And then if you are stuck on entertainment, you begin to quickly realize that you are being used on social media. So your presence of using your use of social media is actually beginning to become a negative impact on you, where you are becoming used by the social media, you become consumed in the process. But there are other social media platforms that are professional. LinkedIn will come to mind. But in other places, there's one called Zeng that I think the German speaking community are more familiar with. But there are quite a number of all these platforms where you get to coordinate yourself in a more professional format. And then there are the educative ones. And when I talk about educative ones, I will think of YouTube, as very educative, even though there are lots of distractions there. But most people who go to YouTube go there to learn something, right? The last time you went to YouTube, for instance, you probably went there to learn how to do one thing or the other, how to use this app or the other, how to use maybe OBS, how to use the other app or the other app. Those are the kind of things that you would find on social media. But the people who are stuck on entertainment, they lose the value of social media. Please, if you are joining us on YouTube, apologies, you may not be seeing the slides, but you will follow the conversation as it goes on. So now, why are people fixed on the entertainment so much? The people stay on the entertainment so much, and that's why a platform like Facebook, for instance, has more users than a platform like LinkedIn, because people want to be entertained. People sometimes are bored, and because they are bored, they go there and they consume their lives away on all the videos, on all the pranks, on all the comedies. And the more attention you give to all these comedies, to all these pranks, and the more time you spend on all these things, the less the time you have to commit to things that are more profitable, maybe to job search, to advancing your business, to advancing your career, to learning new skills, and all the rest of them. Now, when you get to a place like Facebook, you begin to realize that there is something called Facebook Reels, and spending time on this, and this foundation is very important to all of us. You find that there is something called Facebook Reels. Facebook Reel will be like a 1 hour, a 1 minute 30 seconds video. And all of these short videos, I make reels myself because I run a Facebook page. But while making these reels, I also understand that as much as reels are good, they communicate information within a very short time. Most of the people who do reels do the entertainment aspect of reels. And you finish one, and then Facebook pushes another one to you. You finish that one, it pushes another one to you. And then And this is similar, it cuts across all the other platforms because the algorithms seem to study your interest. If your interest is in the videos of entertainment, the algorithms will usually send you messages that are, or send you videos and content that is based on entertainment. And then if your interests are based on the educative things, if the videos you spend your time on are the educative, we talk about going against TikTok because it's sending different kind of content to them than it's sending to people in China, is sort of some level of a shortage of understanding of how the algorithms of social media work, because the algorithms are sending you things that you are looking for, the things you are interested in. If it shows you a comedy skit, because again, it wants you trapped in that system. But if you continue to reject the comedies and continue to reject the pranks that have been wasting your time, you will find the algorithm coordinating itself and trying to respect you and to give you regard for the kind of things you prefer to watch. And now, the point is this: you can stay on the entertainment side and let yourself be used and consumed by the social media platform and by the entertainers who make money off you and who are not making the content to educate you, but rather to pick up, make more money from you, to get you engaged and get you hooked and make more money from you. Or you can begin to choose to gradually move towards the educative and the professional aspects. And that's why I will dwell so much more on the professional use of social media and then the educative use of social media in the subsequent slides. Now, when you get to social media, there are three levels or three layers of connections that you can have on social media. And the first one is what I call your senior colleagues. So, and these senior colleagues can be anybody who is ahead of you in the industry, anybody who is ahead of you in the academia, anybody who is ahead of you in the workplace. This could be managers, this could be captains of industries, business owners, professors, associate professors, doctorate degree holders. And in fact, even the people who have gone ahead of you to win certain kind of scholarships or who work in the kind of places you want to work in, I classify them as your seniors. And you begin to see the reasons why we'll focus more of our attention on this. Because if you want to harness social media, you want to have these three layers. But you also want to pay special attention to these seniors because these are the ones in the position to change your life, just with a signature or with a phone call or with a text message. These seniors, and you need to focus on them very well. Now, your mates. Why do you need these your mates in your life? The reason you need them is because your mates are the people on the same journey as yourself. You see, probably somebody somewhere within this group invited you to join this live session today. And that person who invited you to join this live session might most likely is somebody who is your mate. So your mates are the kind of people who know what you are looking for, and they're the ones who will always call your attention to these things that you are looking for. And that is why you want to have them within your network on social media. This could be on LinkedIn, this could be on Facebook, this could be anywhere. They're going to see the kind of things you are looking for, and they will always share the kind of things you are looking for to share. Now, there are the other ones who are your juniors. Your juniors in this case, of course, junior for junior, you know what it means. But why do you need to have them in your network? These are the people who look up to you. And because they are the ones who look up to you, most of the content you post will they will find it interesting and educative because they are looking up to you. And these juniors and your mates are the ones who will actually help you to go viral on any social media platform, not your seniors. Because most seniors will read your content, most seniors will see the things you create and not react to it. It's not as if they are not seeing it. It's just that there is this complex of I can't be this person's fan boy, or I can't be this person's fan lady. It happens also with your mates sometimes, that your mates are sort of, if I like this or if I share it to look like I am becoming a fan of this, my mate. After all, what does he know that I don't know, right? But your juniors, in most cases, are the ones looking up to you. They are willing to receive information from you. They are willing to engage with the kind of things you post, the things you create, and all of that. And this is why you need to have these three layers of connection on any social media platform you get yourself in. This is even more important when you begin to look at LinkedIn and when you begin to look at Twitter. Now, the temptation is always that on Facebook, most people stay within their secondary school mates, their university mates, because that's how the algorithm is designed. And that's why somehow You want to start moving gradually, to places that will either educate you on Facebook or start moving gradually to the professional platforms for your social media activities. And then remember, when you begin to do your social media activities, don't narrow yourself down to your village. Don't narrow yourself down to people from Akwa Ibom State. Some of the greatest helps I've got from social media came from people who were not from my state. The other person, in fact, some of them will come completely from a different country. Recently, I met somebody who found something I had written, a publication I made, reached out to me on LinkedIn. This is somebody I've never known, and it's still a discussion in progress, but lots of good can come out of that particular conversation. So learn to position yourself as a global person when you come to these social media platforms. All right. So how do you identify the relevant professionals? You come to social media, these things I'm saying now will begin to make sense to you in bits. They're going to begin to add up in bits. So just stay with me. So you come to a particular social media platform, let's say LinkedIn, because I want to really focus more attention on LinkedIn today as a social media platform. And then the things I say about LinkedIn, you can try to replicate across other platforms. Now, when you come to social media, you need to define your purpose. I've mentioned this before. When you define your purpose on social media, you do the best you can to stick to the pursuit of that purpose. For some people, coming to social media as a young professional can be for looking for scholarships. For some others, it's going to be for finding jobs. For some others, it's going to be for promoting their business. They're entrepreneurs and they want to just promote their business on social media platforms. So they're going to be using these platforms for different things. But you need to define your purpose on the platforms first. It's very important. After you've defined your purpose on the platform, the next thing you want to do is, what industry are you operating within? Are you operating within the industry of the academia, looking for academic opportunities, or are you operating within the industry of looking for a job? Now, if you are looking for a job, what industry of, what area of career are you interested in? Are you interested in the oil and gas? Are you interested in civil engineering? Are you a physics person? Are you a research person? Who are you in particular in business development? You need to define these areas, because the more you begin to understand your area and begin to define where you're going to, that's the more you begin to be more profitable on the platforms. That's how you begin to get greater use from these platforms that you will be engaging in. Now, the other thing is, understand your position, right? You may not be the expert today. And if you are not the expert, you may not want to get yourself into constant arguments with the experts, so that the experts don't make a fool out of you. And then the experts also do not get offended with your constant arguments. So once you understand your position, then it defines the kind of content you present. It defines your attitude. Some people are not experts. They are not the seniors, but they lock their accounts. So you can't even send them a connection request on LinkedIn, for instance, until you have their email address. But this is somebody who is just upcoming in the industry. This is a young professional, but you go to his account and the account is locked. You don't want to be in that situation, because you are not that expert yet that everybody is looking for to connect with. There are some other persons who come to LinkedIn and they've just got like 2 connection requests or 2 connections, and they have turned on follow button. So they are not even building connections, but they are expecting people to follow them with their 2 connections. You want to, understand your position and then begin to move up towards where you are targeting to be at. After you've done all of that, you need to understand how to search for things on social media, right? And I'm going to show us kind of job you want to do, to the kind of people you want to connect with, to the kind of schools you want to go to the kind of scholarship you want to find. I'm going to do a very short demo towards the end of this conversation to show us how to use this search bar. In fact, to me, I tell people that the LinkedIn search bar is the greatest, the most powerful function on that platform itself, if you know how to use it. Now, when you have gotten into these social media platforms, how do you begin to get useful? right? I've not told us anything about how much money you can make on social media, right? Because you need to, you don't want to get into a position where the money is your main drive. You want to be in a position where you understand the bigger interest, the bigger objective of your presence on social media, especially as somebody who is a Christian or who has a goal, a target that is beyond finance, right? Now, when you get to these social media platforms, you need to know the people you are attracting. There are people who have like 10,000 followers that are useless to them. When I say useless, I mean like these 10,000 followers cannot help them when they need help. But if you take your time to attract the right people on social media, when you need any help, the people who can help you will show up. And everything I'm saying to us today are going to be mostly things that I have done. I'm going to show us evidence and show us examples as we move forward. Now, to attract the right people, you need to optimize your profile. And when people talk about social media profile optimization, a lot of people think of a very amazing AI generated social media profile picture. That's just a component. And sometimes you may not even want to use the AI pictures. You just want to be yourself. You want to be as real as possible. But optimization does not end on profile picture. When you do optimization, this is how I would define it before we get to the example part. But social media profile optimization, or LinkedIn or Facebook profile optimization, is having all the right information on your platform, on your page or your profile, such that anybody who comes onto that profile can tell immediately what you can do, can tell what you have done, and can tell the things that are powering those things you are doing. That is, the person can see an evidence of what you have done. The person can see the things you can do, and the person can see the skill set you have that puts you in that position to be able to deliver on the things you claim to be able to deliver on. That is profile optimization in short. Now, when you begin to use social media, you need to be strategic on the kind of connection request you want to be sending, especially if you're on LinkedIn. The reason is, on LinkedIn, you are allowed to actually streamline your connection request to meet the kind of people that you really want to meet. So in my case, for instance, when I started looking for jobs within the oil and gas industry in Nigeria, my target were people who work in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria, and then the people who were hiring people for the oil and gas industry. So I was looking at the hiring managers, the recruiters, and then I was looking at the professionals themselves. The reason is that the hiring managers will know when there is a job, and the people within the industry can tell you what to do and how to prepare for that industry and how to get that job. If you are looking for somebody who knows civil engineering, or if you are looking for a job in civil engineering and you know somebody who works for Julius Berger in Nigeria, for instance, the person who works in Berger can tell you how exactly to prepare for Berger interviews, how to prepare for construction role interviews. And that is why those are the kind of people you want to streamline your search to. And these are the people I classified as senior professionals. Of course, for your mates, anybody can connect with you if the person is your mate. Anybody can connect with you from the junior positions. I typically do not reject connection requests from my juniors and from my mates, except in certain instances where it's obvious that this person is just maybe a fraudster, or maybe somebody who comes to market gets one kind of money doubling activity to me. Otherwise, I accept practically all connection requests that come from my friend, from my mates, and from my juniors. But when it comes to my seniors, I am choosy. On the people I send out connection requests to, I try to streamline. I try to what you want to also be doing. Now, when you begin to narrow down to these senior people, what you want to start doing is personalizing your invitation. You don't just send out a random connection request. This person doesn't know you. This person is not your uncle. This person is not your aunt. So you want to sort of introduce yourself a little bit in the connection request. And this is the advantage that LinkedIn gives you that most other social media platforms will not give you. So when you are sending a connection request on LinkedIn, I'll show us practically in some slides down the line. But on LinkedIn, you can include a very brief note that tells the person who you are and why you want to connect with the person. Now, this is a very short message. I think it's just 200 characters at the moment. But within that 200 characters, you want to convince that senior professional to be able to connect with you. For those of us who are looking for scholarships, you want to convince a professor or an associate professor to be able to connect with you, because the professors, they have the scholarship opportunities. The associate professors have the scholarship opportunities, what is called graduate assistantship. These are within their own jurisdiction. They are the ones awarding it. They are the ones interviewing for it. They are the ones advertising it. And that is why you want to connect with them. Then you want to also learn to take advantage of people's connections through constructive commenting and through engagements on their post. So if I am looking for a scholarship, for instance, there are different categories of scholarships. If you attended our first event on this series, you will remember that I talked to us about different categories of scholarships. I talked about the government ones, the graduate assistantships. I talked about the ones that are funded by external institutions and all of that. But let's take a case of the graduate assistantships. This is a situation where a professor has got funding from one organization to conduct a particular research, and that professor is looking for students who will join him in that research. So when he hires the student comes in there to support that research. But in reward, as a reward, the student will not be paying school fees or tuition fees, as they are more often called, and the student will be getting rewarded a certain amount of money per month for doing that job. So these are the kind of scholarships that they have full control of. So if you are looking, and the graduate assistantships, they are available for practically all courses. It's not like PTDF that is mainly for, a certain group of courses. The graduate assistantships are available for most of the courses, so long as there is a professor in your field, in your course, somewhere abroad. Then if you look very closely, you will find a graduate assistantship opportunity within that your course and within a particular school somewhere. So earlier this year, I was telling a group of people that they should set a target for themselves of connecting with at least 125 professors across 5 different countries. So you come to a particular country, identify 5 schools in the country, and then in those 5 schools, connect with at least 5 professors within each of those schools, and do this across 5 of the countries that you have interest in going to for scholarship. When you do that, take up this challenge, and I'm throwing it at us again today. Take the challenge and then reach out to those people on LinkedIn. It's going to do a couple of things for you. By the time you have this network of professors, then you will begin to see more scholarship opportunities than you are seeing. There is no day I log on to LinkedIn and I don't see a scholarship opportunity. There is hardly any such day, because I am in the faces of those who have the opportunities and who manage the opportunities, right? So, and when you have this network of professors, imagine 125 professors in your network, and let's say that 10 of them or 5 of them are posting a scholarship opportunity every 2 weeks. And then of those 5 people in their own network, other professors within their network, or let's say the 125 professors have at least 5 professors within their network. Now you do the math, 5 times 125. You know the number of persons you are going to have within that network. So, and when each of these professors comments or reacts to the post of his fellow professor, you get to see that opportunity. Now for you, when you comment on the post of that professor, all the professors within his network who have commented or reacted to that same post he made will see the comment you have made on his post, right? And because these comments are constructive, these comments are contributing to the conversation, these comments are extending the conversation, the people begin to take notice of you and begin to place value on you. And once people begin to see this value in you, then they can begin to rate you and try to position you somewhere into a scholarship, or begin to ask questions about how you fit into their team. That's what you want to do, and that's the position you want to get yourself to. Then you will need at some point to move from consuming to creating. Remember, in my opening statement, I talked about how people are being used on social media, right? Or how people are being consumed on social media. You want to move from being a consumer of content to being a creator of content, because when you create content around your field, around your expertise, around your skills, around your abilities and capabilities, that's when people begin to take note of you. Now, if you go back to all the other things I have said, you will find that in all of them, The only place you begin to showcase yourself and begin to let people see you is when you begin to make constructive comments, and then when you begin to create content by yourself. And that is what, when you look at this whole circle here, you begin to see what is called the push and the pull approach to marketing yourself on social media. So in the push, you are the one reaching out to the professor with connection request if you are looking for a scholarship. In the push, you are the one reaching out to the hiring manager with a connection request if you are looking for a job. In the push, you are the one reaching out to that manager in that company you are interested in if you are looking for a job. But on the pull side, you are creating content that will draw the attention of those seniors and those your juniors and your mates to your own profile. And then remember that when they come to that profile, they need to meet the profile optimized. They want to be able, you need to keep the profile in such a way that they can tell what you have done, what you can do, and the skills that empower you to be able to do those things that you claim that you can do, right? So when you have done all of these, as a scholarship seeker, you need to pay attention to the professors, and then you need to pay attention to the associate professors, whatever the name is. So long as that person can have a graduate assistantship that is directly under him or her, you want to focus your attention on them. And then you want to focus on the alumni of the scholarship you are interested in applying for. If you are looking for a job, you want to attend to the managers, you want to pay attention to the people who work in that industry. These are the kind of people you want to have in your network, because the first group they own the opportunities, they manage the opportunities. The second group have gone through the process you are about to go through, so they can guide you on the right steps, on the things to avoid, on the things not to avoid, and the things to do and the things not to do. If you ask me about the PTDF scholarship, for instance, I can wake up from the sleep and tell you every single thing you need to do in order to win the scholarship. And if you follow those steps, as many people have followed, you will win the scholarship if you qualify for it. So you need to talk to the alumni, and then you need to talk to the scholars. And LinkedIn will help you to do all of these things. So I'm going to rush a bit on the next couple of slides, because I want to demonstrate something to us on this LinkedIn platform before my time runs out. So now, how do you convince all of these people to connect with you? You've come to LinkedIn and you want to convince your seniors, you want to convince all these professors and all these top-ranking people we've identified who have the capacity to change your life to connect with you. The way you do it is, first, you need to understand that they need you. So a professor needs a student as much as the student needs the scholarship. It's not a case of there are no professors in your field. There are. If you find them, just know that so long as those professors are getting funded research opportunities, they need you and you need them as well. All right. So, and the only thing is, they may not be needing you in your current state. So in the state you are at the moment, I don't mean state in terms of geographical location. I mean state in terms of who you are at the moment. The level of skills you have, the level of qualifications you have may not be what they need. And that is why you want to sort of upgrade yourself a little bit. You see, you go from packaging the right kind of information to them when you come to connect with them. You don't just send out a random connection request. You create personalized invitations. In personalized invitations, I've mentioned, you need to highlight why that person should connect with you. Highlighting why the person should connect with you can be in terms of what you can do, what you are looking for, or what you have found interesting on that person's profile or career journey. Right? These are like different things. There are different ways to approach it, but you need to come to that point where you organize a personalized invitation. I'll show us what examples of such look like. Then there are times when you will send out a connection request to somebody and the person is not accepting it, because not everybody is very good with accepting multiple connection requests. But if you send out a connection request and the person is not connecting, go and follow him. You are the one needing that person. The person doesn't really, in this question, the person needs you, but the person can get a substitute for you. A professor can get a student from China. You can get a student from South Korea or from any other state in Nigeria, from maybe like Lagos State or from Abuja or from any place. So you need the person and you want to be able to see the content the person is posting, because I've seen scholarships that was posted by a particular professor, and within 2 days, that scholarship had like, I think, 620 something likes or reactions on the content that the man had created. So imagine that you are coming to submit an application after 2 days or after 3 days, and then 5% of 600 had already submitted within the first 13 hours of posting. The person probably could have shut down the application system. So you need to personalize your invitations, and you need to follow the people when necessary, because we want to see the updates as they come. Now, touch the emotions of people. Human beings are very emotional, and emotion is stronger than knowledge in many cases. So you learn to create the kind of content that touches the emotion of the person, create the kind of message that touches the emotion of the person. Sometimes this could be in the form of praise. This could be in the form of you being grateful to somebody. So three people have sent out connection requests to one professor. He accepts those three, and then only one of the three comes back to say, thank you for accepting this connection request. That's attitude of gratitude. And then you will be touching the emotion of the professor that way. You'll be touching the emotion of that manager that way. You can write compelling stories and then maybe seek the person's comment or seek the person's opinion on what you have written. I remember I wrote an article sometime, I think in 2019, and that article literally went viral at my level at the time. And one of the main reasons it went viral was because somebody who had been a managing director at Adax Petroleum wrote a very robust comment on that particular post. And I think I had to tag him to the post, like seeking his opinion on that. You don't just tag people randomly, of course, but there are areas where the person can contribute, and that is where you want to bring that person in. Then the other thing you want to do to get yourself well accepted is to develop some skill. You remember in the previous slide, I had mentioned that in your current state, they may not really want you. If you don't have very good grades or your documents ready, you don't have your international passport, most professors will not be looking for you in that state. They want somebody who can take up the scholarship and provide all the relevant documents and move as soon as possible, not somebody who they give a scholarship and then the person says, well, I don't have an international passport, or I cannot provide my transcript, I can't provide my certificate, I can't do this, I can't do that. They want somebody who is ready. So you want to improve yourself, and then you want to position yourself well on the social media platforms, right? Then you need to be careful about your personal development. Take it very seriously. I don't know what level anybody is at the moment. If you are a copper, you are a young professional, you are a student, and you have joined us, you just need to identify that you need to focus on your personal development. Take it very seriously. Sometimes it will cost you money. Sometimes it will cost you time. Sometimes it will cost you pleasure, but take your personal development very seriously. Now, let's begin to get gradually into what it looks like to work on LinkedIn as a purposeful person, to position yourself for influence on LinkedIn, or to position yourself well enough for scholarships or well enough for a job. Now, when you look at what I have on display here, you will find something. These are all connection requests or messages I've had with people in the past on LinkedIn. I've, minimized it to a very good extent. But the thing is this: when you read through each of these messages, there was one I wanted to bring to our attention in particular, because that's the one that came from a professor. So because we're talking about scholarships, job looking people who are looking for jobs, most of the content are around job seeking and for business development. This like, you have a touch of business development in what you can see here, and then you have a touch of connecting with a professor. And the good thing is this: the first day, the day I connected with this professor, the one you can see on the down right corner of what you are seeing on your screen now, I was teaching something similar to what I'm teaching today. So I sent him this kind of message in real time, and the professor connected eventually much later. I had to now reach out to him to, appreciate him much later after that. And this was not even a professor I really needed at the time, but I wanted to demonstrate something to my audience that day, as I will demonstrate to you just right now. Now let's come off this screen and then try to go look at something on LinkedIn, right? Let's have a look at LinkedIn. I will come off the screen shortly and then share I will then share my, where is it? I want to share my LinkedIn. Okay, I want to share my LinkedIn profile so that I can show us some things. So I'll stop sharing the slides just shortly and then we can look. Let's have a look at this one. So I want to show us practically the things we are doing and why these things are important. So I believe you can see my LinkedIn page just now. If you can see it, maybe drop me a message in the comment section saying yes, that you can see it, and then we can run along and make progress. Just one message. Can anybody see my profile now? Okay, yeah, so it looks like everything is okay. Now let's look at my profile. If you come to my profile, I will show us what an optimized LinkedIn profile looks like, and I will show us what a personalized invite looks like. This is not going to be a complete course on how to use LinkedIn, but there is a video on my YouTube channel, Academy of Scholarships and Transitions, where you can go to for something full on that. Now, if you come to this place, if you can see my course, you come here, you see my name, Augustine Okechukwu, everything intact. And when you come to LinkedIn, there are people who come to LinkedIn and they write their names in all small letters. That's very unprofessional to do. You want to write your name with a sense of professionality. Oh, okay, let me stop sharing and reshare. All right, I'm trying to get the screen back, but you were seeing the slides I was presenting later. Were you seeing the slides just a minute ago? It's like I can't share screens at the moment. This is okay. For some strange reason, I can't share my screen. I don't know why. Okay, for some strange reason, I can't, my screen. Okay, well, this is not so good. What do we do? Can any other person try, Pastor Ben? Hello? Yes, let me see. Okay, yeah, I think everything is back okay. Yes. Can we see it now? Okay, thank you so much. Sorry for yes. So when you come to my page, yes. So yes, thank you so much. So let's make progress because time is running against us. Now, when you come to my page on LinkedIn, there is something you will find on this particular page. First, profile optimization, like I mentioned, is not just about the profile picture that you see. In fact, profile picture might be one of the list of things that's okay. All right. All right. Can we hear me now? Okay. Thank you so much. So when you come to when you talk about LinkedIn profile optimization, it's not just about this profile picture that you can see. Even though the profile picture is good, I'm smiling, everything, the picture is symbolic. There's something about it that makes me leave it there. I'm not even wearing a suit, but the picture is there. It shows my face. Anybody who has seen me on LinkedIn and meets me in real life knows that this is who I am. The picture is not like outdated, fake, and all that kind of thing. But that's not the main component of profile optimization. There's noise on someone's background. Please, can you mute yourself? Or I will try to mute here. All right, so that's not the whole thing about profile optimization. Profile optimization starts from you having your name written correctly on LinkedIn. Because there are people who come to LinkedIn and their name is written in all small letters or all caps. That's like a very big red flag for most people. If you have your name written, write your name as a professional, as somebody who is serious about what he's trying to achieve. Then on this very place, you can see a very short summary of what I am and who I am and what I am. You can see something written here about being a well engineer, researching plug and abandonment materials in my PhD, and then building industry experience as a P&A. This is when I was working for Repsol Resources here in the UK, my PhD. So this is a very short summary. But here on the other side, where you have that empty horizontal space, most people don't make use of it. But this is something you can use to showcase your business or to showcase what you are doing or to tell people about the kind of things you can do. Now, in this place, you have all the things I can do. These are very engineering things. And then the one that is very common is the marketing aspect, because I can do business development for you. If you needed to push your business to the internet, this is something I do. And then you see somewhere on this end that there's something like my PhD, then follow SynCorp Solutions. This is like a company I'm trying to build out of my PhD in the process of, just that once I finish the PhD, I can start running the PhD outcomes as a company. So if somebody wanted to see what is happening there, or the progress I'm making on the PhD, the person can simply go follow that SynCorp Solutions and then the person will be updated. This is the components of profile optimization that you want to be paying attention to. If you're somebody looking for a scholarship, you can reflect that here. If you're somebody looking for a job, you can make a statement around that here, and then showcase the skills you have that will give you a job or that will make you give somebody a job if you are in need of giving the job. But that's not the end. There is something here. Let me see. LinkedIn doesn't seem to show every aspect of this profile today for some reason, maybe because, okay, yeah, it's up now. So when you move from there, you come down to this place that is about. This is where you can write detailed information about yourself. And remember, why this is important is because when recruiters, people are looking for people to hire and they come to LinkedIn to search for maybe well engineers, LinkedIn is going to show them people whose profiles are optimized. I've got contacts, I've got requests from recruiters, my availability, or questions from recruiters about my availability to work on different occasions. They come to LinkedIn and they can see my profile and they can see what I can do, and my name is coming up when they make those search requests within the platform. So you have this particular place to write a whole lot. Now, in my case, I have my email addresses here, and I will encourage you, including my phone number, to have these things, because you are just coming up. You are not the biggest expert. If somebody has my email address, like, what's my concern? The best that can happen is he sends me a fraudulent email. I can identify it. I, leave it. But you don't want to be in a position where a recruiter is looking for you, as somebody who can help you is looking to contact you, and the person cannot reach out to you. Then down here, you have all the things you create. Now, profile optimization does not end in those upper sections. Profile optimization moves into the kind of content you write. So, for instance, when you come to my profile, you will see something. When you click on all activities, you come down to There was a post I wrote recently, which is very professional. I write professional. I write some, posts that are around linked scholarships. Now, when you read this post, for instance, you come down to the end of the post and there is something you see here, an hashtag that is plug and abandonment, or an hashtag that is decommissioning. These are like the core areas of my PhD. And that's why I'm using the hashtags. I want to be found by people who are looking for plug and abandonment engineers. So if somebody comes to say he's looking for a plug and abandonment engineer and writes like on the search query here, plug and abandonment, this post will likely come up. In social media, in blogging, is called SEO, but that's search engine optimization. In this place, you are optimizing for yourself to be able to be, for people to see you. Now, if you are looking for a scholarship, you want to start discussing the aspects of you that are relevant to that scholarship, the skills that are relevant to that scholarship. And once you begin to showcase those things and you begin to use the right keywords within those posts, when any professor searches for somebody who is looking for a scholarship or who has this kind of skills, your profile will likely come up to the person. And then imagine that you are fortunate enough that you have connected to that professor in the past, and then your profile is also coming up again to the person when he's making those queries. You're already breaking the barriers towards a scholarship for yourself. And don't let anybody deceive you. These scholarships are not just even for first-class graduates. I do have a first class, but that's not the only criteria you need for a scholarship. There are people winning scholarships with second class lower. It's just you understanding your own level and then understanding the amount of work you need to do from your own positions and then getting committed to doing that amount of work. Now, if we go back to this, so profile optimization goes down to the post you are writing. If you come down to this place, you see like the things I have done in the past. And this is like a digital CV that is out there for you. You can see when you write your work, this is something very important. Now, when you write your profile and then you write the jobs you've done, there's a company I was working for in Lagos. You don't come down here to repeat your job description. You come down to this place to discuss the things you actually did for the company. Now, for instance, go through all of what is there. You will see me writing things like, especially when you've left the job. This particular one here, that's plug and abandonment, is something I need to update. This is not like in its best format. And then when you look at this particular line here, I wrote it there that these are job functions, will update to reflect my achievement. I left the job sometime earlier this year. And then what will happen is that all of these things, which were job descriptions, will be converted to actual impact that I made on the company, the things I achieved, the things I did, just in the same way that you will write your CV. This is something I needed to actually update within a very short time. So this is an example of how it looks. Now, if you come to the search bar, let's say I'm looking for professor. We are using scholarship people today as an example. So I want to find a scholarship or professors in physics because I am a physicist and I'm looking for graduate assistantship opportunities in physics. What do? I come to this search bar and then I write professor. Right? When I write professor, I press enter. On your mobile device, this is going to look similar, but I'll show you where the difference comes. So in this place, you will see people, you will see jobs, you will see posts, you will see groups. So jobs will be job adverts for professors, and then this will be people who are actually professors. So I click on people, and I begin to see that everybody on this particular list now are professors in their fields, different fields. But I'm not looking for all fields and I'm not looking for all countries. So I come down here to streamline to professors within the United States and United Kingdom. Remember, I'm giving us a challenge of 125 professors in 5 different countries. Get started on it and I know you can make it. So once I have my location set to United States and United Kingdom, all of those people that were not from these particular places will be filtered out. If I'm looking for professors within a particular institution, I will choose the name of the school here. You can see Imperial College, University of Aberdeen. These are more like picking the universities that are closest to me. But I don't like streamlining to universities that much when looking for scholarships. So this place, I come to all filters. And when I come to all filters, you will come down to something called keyword. Keywords. I leave the name, I leave all of that, and I come to this place that is titled, I want to write physics. because I want a professor who is in physics. If you are looking for a math person, you write math here. If you are looking for a chemical engineer, just write chemical engineer in this title part. And then it will show you, maybe not everybody, depending on how they've written their profile, but it will show you the people who are from within that field, right? So you can see the first person who comes up here is professor of physics at Stevens Institute of Technology. This should be, I think, in New Jersey. And then his name is Edward Whitaker, right? So I come to him and I have two options. If you are working on a laptop, this will show you connect. But when you click on connect, it will show you this particular message that says add a note. That's where you do the personalization. If you are working on this on a mobile device, what you will do is if you click on connect directly on a mobile device, it will just send out a random connection request to him. But you open the person's profile if you are working from a mobile device. And then when you open that profile, instead of having more written on the side, what you will see is like 3 dots on the side of the person's name. So when you click on those 3 dots, it will now show you something like personalized invite. So that personalized invite is what you click on, and then you will be able to see that aspect that lets you to write a brief message to him. Follow is where you just click to follow the person if the person is not connecting with you. But even if the person doesn't connect with you and you follow him, he doesn't connect, go write a constructive comment on a post that he has made, and that will draw his attention to you. I use this a lot, or maybe not a lot because people do accept my connection request, but I've used it in a number of situations. When I was looking for one CEO recently, that was how I got connected to him. And once that comment was made, I think he liked the comment, and then I sent out a connection request. It didn't take time, and he got back to me with an acceptance. So don't choose to send without a note. Come to this place and then click add a note. And then on this add a note, you just see that you have only 200 characters here. In this place, you will do something like this. Hello, Edward. They like it. You don't need to write professor to these white people. They can just answer their names. And then in this place, you write a message. You don't want to start with my name is this and all that, because you can see your name already. So you can write something like maybe you greet the person. For instance, maybe I trust you are good and work is fine, that kind of thing. Depending if it's a season of difficulty, you can bring up that difficulty to appeal to the emotion of the person. Maybe I am impressed, let's say, by your recent research in, you name the particular field, let's say whatever field, and would like to connect with you, maybe that kind of thing. But you want to manage this space very well. What you are trying to do is, I'm not going to write a full message in real time, because in the real sense, I'm not very interested in connecting with Edward just right now. But if you have found, for instance, a research paper that Edward has written, you want to write what you learned from that particular thing that touched you. So you have greeted Edward, trying to know whether he's fine. You have asked about his welfare. And this is the aspect of you trying to be his hype man. You are trying to say that his research is very impressive. He has done something very amazing. You are trying to touch his emotion on that level while showing him that you have a good understanding of the field you are trying to go into, right? And then when you have done that, you can just add with kindly connect. Those people, they like regards at the end of messages. If you've got the space, just put regards. And good enough, if you have written a message like this and you're not able to shorten it, you can go to something that is called Google Gemini, or maybe ChatGPT, or any of those things. Carry that message and tell it to shorten it into 200 characters. It will do it for you, summarize it, and give you a perfect summary of that message that you have out there. Correct? So that's the kind of thing you want to do. Once you have done that, then click on send, and you will have your connection request sent out. I'm not sending this out now to Edward, but if I take time to do it, I know he's going to respond, because I'll send him what he is really looking for. I believe that was helpful to us on the part of how to use LinkedIn. And then we can run the summary of the next part of this particular event. And then I will, be bringing us to a very good close. So let's finalize, and then we call it a day. Where is it? 5 more minutes, right? Thank you so much. We will meet up with that target. Yes. So, in all of these that we have said today, I believe you have learned something. And then I believe you know that if you don't have your documents ready, if you don't have your transcripts, you don't have your certificates, you don't have your international passports, these are things you need to go and start gathering just right now. You need to pick those things up. You need to have those things arranged. You need to have those things tidied up. But in the end, what matters the most is action. If you don't act on the things we learned today or the things we have discussed today, there is not going to be any profit. But if you choose to begin to act and begin to take steps, you begin to go to your LinkedIn profile, go to your Facebook profile, and all those comedians that have filled up your space, you start like what I did at some point and what I still do: block, 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 unfollow, 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 unfollow. And then you go to LinkedIn and you begin to identify the right people there and send connects, personalized invite, personalized invite, personalized invite, and then begin to create content that will draw the attention of people to yourself on the profiles, whether it's on Facebook or anywhere. Then you may not have any advantage of spending this time with us. But if you now show up, and this is very important because like Woody Allen would say, 80% of your success is in showing up. The difference between those who win scholarships with a second class lower and those who have second class up about win no scholarship is mostly in showing up. The difference between the first class graduate who cannot get a job and the first class and the second class graduate who has a job and has a scholarship is mostly in showing up. So what do you do when you show up? Showing up is not you showing off. There are different things, but you show up by making your applications. If you are a student, if you're looking for a job or looking for a scholarship, showing up is in creating content. Showing up is in having your profile optimized. These are all the things that put you out there for the people to see, right? And once you have all of these things sorted, then the people can find you. And because the people can find you, then the people can actually connect with you and then listen to you when you have a need. And because you are showing up by applying, then your application can be, can be examined, and then you can be invited for an interview. You can't go from not applying to winning. You need to apply, and that application is you showing up. And like I say, when you come to social media, do not aim to remain in the inbox. In the inbox, your impact is limited. And this is even more useful to you as a Christian. If you come to Facebook, for instance, the biggest of Facebook influencers are not Christians at the moment. You will see people struggling to have like up to 1 million followers on social media, and you will see Christians having maybe like just 1,000 followers on social media, but they are spending their time on frivolities, on things that really do not help the soul and do not help the mind and do not even help the physical development of the person or the professional development of that particular Christian. You don't want to be in that particular category of people who are just, whiling away their time on all these social media platforms. You want to go from the inbox to the open box. The open box is where you express yourself. The open box is where you have impact for your professional development, for your business, for your scholarship wins, and for Christ. Is in the open box that you can impact lives the more. If you look at it, the open box, inbox to the open box is like a funnel, and then you go from that narrow part, you master the art gradually, and then you move out, launch out to the open box, and then, let yourself be known to the people. Regardless of what you do, remember that the current world is very distracted, and nobody will remember the man or the woman who doesn't show up. Show up. And then while you show up, remember that the Bible says you ask and it shall be given unto you. You seek and ye shall find. You knock and the door shall be opened unto you. Now, this particular passage has impact on the spiritual things and it has impact on the physical. I know you know the spiritual impact. The physical impact is that on some doors you have to knock multiple times, and those who win scholarships are people who have learned to knock on multiple doors multiple times. I repeat, those who win scholarships and even those who win jobs are people who have learned to knock on multiple doors multiple times without giving up and then improving themselves in between. So you keep knocking on doors, but while knocking on doors, you don't repeat the same things. You don't apply with the same kind of document. You will have to improve your document, improve your application to meet the specific requirements and the specific targets of the scholarship you're applying for. However, in all your doings, you remember to trust in the Lord, because it's not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, is of the Lord who showeth mercy. And if you don't align your interest with the interest of God, you will struggle a lot in life. If you choose to be disobedient to God, you will struggle a lot in life. And especially if you are somebody who has known God and then decide to go away from God, most times the ways of the wicked will be hard. So you align yourself with God, align yourself with the purpose of God, and do your own part. Your own part is going to knock, your own part is going to ask, your own part is going to seek. And then when the Bible says seek and it shall be given unto you, the unbelievers knock and they get doors opened unto them in the physical. How much more a Christian who has a spiritual backup to that promise? That spiritual backup is God, and will create the ways for you. He will make your path straight, and then he will grant you favor even before the professor. So reach out there, break out from that isolation, launch out into searching for scholarships, applying for scholarships. And while you do all of these, work very closely with all the people within this network. All the other documents you need for scholarships, we are going to talk about in the subsequent series. We'll take our time to do an SOP, a real-time SOP writing or editing. We're going to look at CV writing and editing, but go ahead today. Go to LinkedIn, go to any social media platforms, follow the things we have discussed today, and then you will be getting yourself ready and stepping ahead of your mates on the journey to a scholarship. And that was me today. And if you would like to get more in touch with me, you can look up Academy of Scholarships and Transitions on Facebook and on YouTube. Even on TikTok, you can find ASAT, and we will be in touch continually. This is time for question and answer. I believe apologies, I may have shot over my time to some extent.